Hey guys, how are you? It's me as your bias on yet day, continuing the videos on Orishas, and today's topic is going to be on Asojuano, Orisha Asojuano. Let me give you guys a brief introduction into who he is. Asojuano is syncretized with San Lazaro, the Catholic Church. He is the Orisha of healing, the Orisha of health, the Orisha of epidemics, disease. He rules over anything that has to do with microbes and bacteria and anything, any of those things. It's disease, HIV, herpes, smallpox in particular. All of those things are under the rule of Asojuano. In Africa, the cult of Asojuano used to be very feared since the priests of Asojuanos had um, the cure to certain things or to diseases, and at the same time they could spread. They were known to, when they wanted to curse someone or they wanted to do something like that, they would spread the disease up around that person and eventually probably killing the person, or they would heal the person. So his cult or his worship was always greatly feared, and everyone always tried to be on the good side of Asojuano so that nothing bad health-wise would happen to them. For some reason, Asojuano was taken to Cuba during the slave trade, and there he became syncretized with San Lazaro, which is, in Cuba terms, is the old man with the two crutches and the two dogs, is who we call San Lazaro. And they became immediately syncretized one with the other. And in Cuba, he took on the role more of a healer than a curse giver type of thing. You know, he's still an extremely respected Orisha that everyone, regardless, fears, but everyone at the same time feels great love towards him. Kind of as if you were looking at a stern grandfather that you love and you like, but at the same time you're like, you don't want to get him mad type of thing. That's how we in the diaspora tend to look at Asojuano or Babalu more like, you know? You respect him, but you adore him at the same time. Um, he's considered one of the dark Orishas, one of the mysterious Orishas, because of his relation to death and his relation to the things in the world that humans don't want to deal with, which is all sorts of bodily diseases and anything that makes you not be healthy, you know? In the old times, smallpox used to be a very big deal. You know, nowadays you just get vaccinated as a child and you never pretty much have it and stuff like that. But in the old times, it used to take lots of lives, and that was the main disease of Asojuano back then. Nowadays, it's things like ulcers of herpes and HIV that later on turns into AIDS. Any type of, like, even diabetes to some extreme belongs to Asojuano, because all those are things that decay the health of the person. Not every time that someone is sick, it means that it was Asojuano who cursed the person or who brought it upon the person. But a lot of the times, it can be him, which is why he's so respected. You never want to anger Asojuano because immediately he will target your health. And the same goes in the opposite way. When your health is decaying, the first one Orisha that you should run to should obviously be Asojuano, since he's the one that will help you out with whatever you need. Now, the cult of Asojuano comes from the Araras. Remember in Cuba, there was a big mixture of different tribes and different things, and different people from different regions and all that stuff. So you have the Yorubas, you have the Congos, you have the Araras, you have the Abacuas and all that stuff. Asojuano came from the Araras. And later on, in Cuba, he was turned into what we call Lukumi, but it used to be from the cult of the Araras. Okay? Whenever you receive a Sojuano, you receive his companion, which is Echofra, and I have mine here. Echofra's colors are white and black. And this is just a little mazo that I made for him, but I made it with a different shade of white, like more like an off-white type of thing, kind of. But these are some meleques that I have for a fra, fresh fra, from when I received them. Um, Afra is another one of the Arara deities, and he's an Eshu. He's like an Elegua, or he is an Elegua, but he's just called Eshu Afra, and he walks very closely to Asojuano. So whenever you receive Asojuano, whenever you receive San Lazaro, you receive Afra and you receive San Lazaro. In some houses, you receive other Orishas like Nanu, or better, that Nanu is a short version. Nanume is the full name, and Nanaburuku is the other Orisha we receive. All four of them, Afra, Asojuano, Nanu, and Nana, are considered the Arara family. So whenever anyone refers to I received the Arara family, that means that they received all four of those Orishas. I have three at this moment. I have Afra, Asojuano, and Nanume. In about a month or so from this video, I'll be receiving Nanaburuku, but that's a whole different video there. Anyway, so Afra is pretty much your legua that you go to when you want to talk to Asojuano. He's the one that you tend to first, or 20 of the Afra family really. You know, like in Lukumi, in Orisha worship, you always go to a legua first before approaching the other Orishas. In this type of cult, you or worship, you come and you worship Afra first, so he may open the door to communicate with the other Arara family members and stuff like that. Okay? So Asojuano is, like I said, syncretized with San Lazaro, and you'll hear those names spoken about, like used interchangeably. Like people will say Asojuano, Afra, Omolu, all those things constantly, constantly, constantly. San Lazaro has different paths, or different caminos, or onas, or whatever you want to call it. And usually, if I'm not mistaken, each ona or each camino has a close relation to a certain orisha. My camino has a close relation to Chango. And mind you, San Lazaro always has a close relation to Chango, but my camino is the closest one to Chango. So here, this here is my leke of my camino. Not sure if you guys can see that too well, but this is it. This is the main leke of my camino of San Lazaro. And I can tell you guys from experience that San Lazaro is one of the most powerful orishas that we have in this religion. He's well known for curing people of any type of disease, just like he's well known for being very harsh in his punishments to people when they deserve it. All of his ceremonies are very secretive, they're very mysterious, they're very darkish, you know, it's like not your typical happy ceremony, they're very like that. With no offense to anyone or him, but that's the reality of it. They're very mysterious ceremony, they're very strong ceremonies. They're not for the weak of heart or anything like that. Because Asojuano represents an aspect of death. Asojuano is half Egun and half Orisha. So he's half spirit, half Orisha. So all his stuff is just a mixture of Orisha with spirit, with... It's lovely, but it's very scary at the same time. These feathers here that you guys see are Guinea hen feathers, and those are put around him because that's considered his crown. So that's where people put it. And he takes all sorts of offerings as long as they don't contain salt or water. There's absolutely no salt or water in his worship. Now, if you're giving it to San Lazaro spiritually, some people do give him water, but if you're giving it to Asojuano, it is taboo to give him water or any type of salt or anything like that. Offerings that you can give to Asojuano is dry wine, coconut water, peanuts, sesame seeds, coconuts, fruits, meat, like raw meat, palm oil, um, and then the different adimos or cooked foods that belong specifically to him. His most sacred herb, he has a few herbs that only belong to him, okay? But the one that most people use for him is the one that's called con de amor. And I have some outside, but I forgot to grab a piece of it and bring it in. But that's, if you guys look it up, if you guys ask other people, you guys will be able to see pictures of con de amor very easily. And I'm not really sure why it is considered so sacred for him, but it is. So that's the most sacred herb that, amongst others, that only belongs strictly to him. Con de amor is the most frequently used in anything that has to do with Asojuano. His ceremony is very expensive, and I will say that because people don't understand sometimes why it is, but he takes a lot of animals. When you're receiving him, people always charge a lot of money to work in his ceremonies, and it's just the stuff that goes into his ceremonies, the oils and the dry wines and all the food and all the other stuff, it's expensive. So his ceremony is very expensive. Um, when giving Asojuano, I always recommend people that you should always receive him with 4 legs, meaning with his goat, because there's certain reasons for that. And Asojuano and Afra are both good orishas that you might want to have them talk to you in Ita. And remember that in our tradition, in the Pumi tradition, when you feed a 4-legged animal, 2 days later, it's the day of Ita, and that's when the orisha gets to talk to you through the oracle and stuff like that. Now I know some people give it in feathers only, and that's perfectly fine, but it's always recommended for you to receive with 4 legs. Anyways, approach Asojuano with lots of respect. Be very cautious. There's a saying that says Asojuano eats with the king and strikes the prince on the way out. And that's quite literal in the sense that he's very friendly to you, and then he'll turn and he'll curse, or he'll give his punishment to someone else in the same room who deserves it. He doesn't go around giving punishment to people for no reason. He gives it when you deserve it, when he needs to teach you a lesson, and if not, then you're on his good side, and that's where you all want to remain. Do not call upon him for no dumb reason. Call him with serious matters. Come to him with serious matters. Whenever you see a beggar, like a homeless person or something like that, you can give them, if you give them alms, that will be in honor of Asojuano. That's the thing that you can do, giving some money to them and stuff like that. And that's just a little bit about Asojuano and Afra, and I hope you guys have learned a little bit something about them. If you guys have any questions, if I think of anything else, I'll post it as comments or as things come, but as I'm making the video, this is all I can really come up with right now. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have learned something. Please, please, please subscribe. Leave me your comments, leave me your feedback, and give me a little bit of information about your particular Asojuano path. You know, for those of you who have him, I can tell you that people that have received him have loved the ceremony of Asojuano and have never regretted receiving Asojuano, but everyone always have extremely high respect for Asojuano. So that should tell you guys that don't have him a little bit extra about Asojuano. So anyways, just send me emails, comments, all the good stuff, subscribe, share the video, do all the shebang, and I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys learned a little bit extra, and just let me know. Ache, 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 oh. Bye guys.